Welcome to our focus sessions on digital transformation in CX. First up, we talk to Karen Teo from Meta to give us a glimpse of the latest innovations affecting CX. Press play and stay tuned.
Through the wonders of emerging technologies, Metaverse is redefining CX in more ways than one. We have early adapters from brands that offer one-of-a-kind immersive experiences. In today's talk, we will reimagine CX in the Metaverse as we gain insights from one of the industry frontrunners. She is the VP of the Global Business Group for the Asia Pacific region at Meta. Prior to this role, she spent 4 years leading the Meta APAC gaming team before becoming Meta's first Southeast Asian female VP in APAC. As an active champion for diversity and inclusion, she's currently the global co-executive sponsor of Pride at Meta. She continues to elevate the dialogue on equality externally and has spoken at various government and private institutions on the importance of diversity and inclusion in building a future-forward workforce. She's also on the board of the National Arts Council in Singapore. Let us take a closer look at Metaverse as one of the latest innovations affecting CX through this formidable CX expert, Karen Teo. Hi, Karen. Welcome to our conversation today.
Hi, Dan. I love your energy. Thanks for that fantastic, fabulous intro. Thank you. And I'm very happy to be here.
Well, we are excited you are here today. Quite a, I must say, a very beautiful topic that we will be diving into. I do have several questions that I've prepared for you, but I'd just like to start first with, how have you been? Like, what does a Karen Teo's day look like?
Okay, well, I think today's started really well. Firstly, preparing for this conversation with you and coming in and meeting people like you with the energy and curiosity has been great. And typically my day is look, my team, I lead a team of people that work with businesses of all sizes. What we do is we help these businesses make sure that their products and services are discovered. We help them figure out how to go overseas, right? How to bring their businesses overseas to meet customers. So what a lot of the things that my team and I do is we talk with business owners, we talk with companies, right? People who care about the customer experiences that they bring their customers on and the journeys that the customers are on. And then on top of that, I am also like the point person for talking about the Metaverse, go to market and the narrative here in APAC. So yes, there's a lot of conversations with people. It's about looking into strategies. It's like answering questions as well as learning from the people that I speak to. So a very people-focused time that I spend every day.
It's always lovely to get to know about our guest, Karen. Thank you for sharing. I am actually ready now to plunge into our talk. Sure. Shall we start?
Let's plunge in together.
Okay, all right. You have been around. When I say you've been around, I say that with so much respect, Karen. I see here that you have been a co-founder, account director at Quirks Communications. You've been a brand manager, Diverty Universal Games, marketing manager for Xbox, all in the umbrella of Microsoft, and you spent some time there. Then head of gaming, sales, regional director for APAC, managing director for SMB APAC, and currently the vice president for Global Business Group. So you've certainly have seen.
I've been around
with this with this amazing achievements in your field of work. You have a sense. You've seen the changes in business models and technology, and in every so often there's going to be something seismic that's happening in work. Like the era of manual labor, then we switched to industrial revolution, then internet came, the invention of the internet, that's a digital revolution. And because right now where we're at, ushered in by the global pandemic, which a lot of industry experts are saying the biggest experiment in the history of work, we're now at the hybrid revolution. What do you consider as one of the most cutting edge innovation in the recent years?
Well, there's a lot, but specific to this topic, right, of work and all, I would say that I find that the tech in which people work and collaborate with each other across distances has really been impressive. If you think about it, like very much in line with the progress and the evolution that you're calling out. For a long time before the pandemic, when you talk about doing video conferences, a lot of people do it in the boardrooms, right? So it's like meeting room to meeting room, right? That was it. It was a corporate space to.
You have to book a room.
Right. All right. And then at some point it became like, okay, because we've got cameras and laptops, let's make that possible for individuals to do it too. You don't need to log into a boardroom and do all that funny, like difficult stuff just to talk to a colleague somewhere else. And then when the pandemic came, everybody could just do it from home. Like, it became so easy and natural, like meetings were held, and just like this, right, where we're talking to each other over a distance. So that was great. But now that has further evolved, right, to having that sense of presence. So it's no longer you and I looking at each other on the screen. Now it's come to a point where you and I could be feeling like we're in the same room, right? And I see this and I experience this in Horizon's workroom, right? It's a virtual, immersive, 3D environment. And it's so, that sense of presence is so real. It's almost like, then it's like if we're in there, I will probably be able to hear you scribbling or breathing. If there are other groups of people in there and there's a meeting going on, we can hear side conversations going on. That it's hard to describe. It's one of those things that if anyone has a chance to experience it, like they should, because it's unreal, and yet it is. So I find that to be totally mind-blowing and really cutting edge, in my opinion.
Thank you. So I heard the one big word here is evolution. There's so many things evolving right now in the way that we communicate, the way that we use technology to build this relationship with our partners, with the people that we've worked with. I know that this is going to be a topic in our conversation today, Karen. It's all about Metaverse. And I mean, for the sake of our audience, for some of our audience, how can you simplify this to them?
Well, no, I think it's a very good way to start, because we get asked this a lot, like, what exactly is the Metaverse? And the way we define it is this: like, it's a series of like digital spaces, right? Where it's immersive, right? The sense of immersion, and it can be 3D, but it's not only 3D experiences, right? So as long as it's immersive, it's digital, and all these digital spaces are interconnected, so that you can move from one digital experience to another and bring with you your personal identity. You can bring with you your personal, like, virtual belongings, and that is the way we see it as well. Is the next evolution of social technologies, and very possibly the successor of the mobile internet. So this is how we view and define the Metaverse.
Thank you. Truly an exciting topic to talk about. So many, as you have already mentioned, with this evolution, new emerging technology, and so many things to look forward to. Would you say that it was unexpected for Metaverse to find its way in CX? Has it always been there?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's unexpected. In fact, you're right. There are like glimmers of it, right? If you look at, and I alluded to this earlier, right? People taking video conferences from home and all. Like, if anything, the past 2 years have highlighted that when things are not possible or practical, the digital world can actually help to make us feel connected, and that as well in the world of customer experiences. And for all the progress that we've made, there is still a lot to do to improve that digital experience. So the Metaverse essentially helps us answer this challenge by helping us to get even closer to that in-person connection, right? It is, like I said, it's the next evolution in social technologies, and it will feel like a hybrid of today's online social experiences, and sometimes it will expand into like 3D. It can be projected into the physical world, and like I said, it's seamlessly stitched together, so you can jump from one to another. But like the World Wide Web in the 1990s, right? The opportunity that this technology offers can feel quite hard to grasp, but it can also unlock opportunities like beyond what you even like can imagine at this stage. Customer experiences is about connecting with your customers, and I think this is a natural way for companies and businesses to want to connect with their customers even more personally. and yet to be able to do it at scale. So not unexpected at all.
I love it. Connection is more important than ever, especially in this age. I'd like to know what's more for Metaverse. Would it evolve in the next few years? Is there more for it?
Is there more for it? Well,
is the room going to grow more?
Yeah, I do think so, right? If you think about what we're seeing now today, this is like the workspace, right? We're talking. I just talked about how like already now I can feel a sense of presence with a colleague or someone in a meeting in a virtual 3D meeting room. It will grow more to encompass individuals and then businesses. When we look at it, right, we look at it from an individual standpoint, like creators. There'll be all these creators who can come out and like create like beautiful new worlds in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's happening already. I don't know whether you've seen the news. Wendy's, for example, went into the metaverse and they created Wendyverse, where people who are interested in, who like Wendy's, can go in there and like experience like Wendyverse, where it's like just jumping around. It's like a playground. It's like a very immersive 3D world. And then you think about the businesses, right? Today we have like e-com, right? Mm-hmm. What we're trying to develop, like with the whole presence platform, is how do we go from e-com today, helping businesses like to speak to customers and all through business messaging, and then take that and in down the road, we envision a virtual world where people can step into a shop from the comfort of their home, right? Nice. Right. And so like you can be trying, and right now, if you think about it, the technology is already here, right? AR filters, right? Can I put on, do these sunglasses look good on me? The lipstick, how does like putting on like a certain top, like how does it look against my skin? Like all that is already possible. So that evolving further, that's where we see more of such possibilities, both economic and business, thrive, and it will come to life.
Certainly a lot of possibilities are coming with the use of AI and integrating it in CX. Yeah. And you kind of mentioned quite interesting innovations that will fuel Metaverse. I think I've experienced this when I was shopping 3 weeks ago when my sister was trying to shop and she was trying to just, check if the lipstick would suit her. And there's that interface where you just click on it and just choose the shade and just basically just overlaps on her lips. And it's just really fantastic. And there's so much more out there that we can certainly discover and maximize. So I love the topic and what's for the future in this specific field. Now, do you see any loopholes, Karen, in Metaverse, failing to elevating CX?
Right. So right now, when we're thinking about the metaverse, right, and even in the case of CX, right, a lot of the technologies now is powered by the internet, so access is very important, right? And so ensuring that there's access to everybody around the world, right? Like all communities have access to high quality connections in order to be able to be part of this journey is firstly important. So if the world doesn't build for all communities and allow people from all corners of the world to be able to access this new technology and the metaverse, then that's a loophole. Secondly, a lot of what we're thinking and seeing today are these like hardware, right, as well. Whether it's AR or whether it's even VR, it is important that that hardware gets accessible to everybody as well. And anything that's dependent on hardware, it comes at a cost. And anything that comes with a cost makes it harder or even prohibitive for some people to own. So despite making our headsets as affordable as possible, the cost of buying VR headsets or future AR glasses will be unavoidable, which is why it's very important that we already start collaborating with partners on programs that can help get hardware into the hands of people and groups who otherwise won't have these access. For example, Meta partnered with this academy called the Ron Clark Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, to bring like 90 VR headsets and funding support and teacher training to benefit its community. And we're also building in a way where we want to try to create as many entry points to the metaverse as possible, including through mobile phones and the apps that people use today. So we foresee that as a potential loophole, right? Because you want to talk to a customer, like you want to make sure the customer can talk to you in the metaverse. So making sure that everyone can access it, whether it's through a mobile phone or through VR headsets, I think it's paramount, and that's what we're trying to make possible. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that to us, Karen. Now, how can the workforce, let's dive into this topic, this particular piece, how can the workforce of the future, since this is, technology and so many changes we're adapting to, supplement the benefits that Metaverse has in enhancing CX?
Let me see. Well, I
think we already talked about communication aspect of it, and
correct.
can still be further improved.
Correct. Well, at Meta, we actually have a really bold vision, right? We believe that when we talk, and I mentioned it, right, about creating access as well. So when we talk about the metaverse, we talk about a future where people are the center of technology. And so I want to make sure that we can help build that access. And so we announced that we're investing 150 million to try to help develop the next generation of metaverse creators, right? So that they can fund high quality immersive experiences. They know how to use the technology of the metaverse. And then we want to create high quality immersive experiences that transform the way that we learn, as well as like increase access to learning through technology. So this will include things like developing new training programs.
Oh, I love it.
For aspiring creators, increasing access to our MetaSpark curriculum and certification. So I would say a very simple way for like the workforce to think about how they can embark on this is like just to start experimenting and upskilling yourself. Like we have this online learning portal called Blueprint, where you can learn like how to create and build on MetaSpark. That's one. That's like the AR, the augmented reality step that they can take. But even before that, you think about today, you think about how you work with customers and how you bring them on their journey. It's super important to know that you get really good with the stuff and the technology that's available today, right? The 2D stuff. So that, when the technology comes into play and it becomes core of like customer behavior, like you're all ready to adopt that technology and move on to the next step, because we think of it as like a crawl, walk, run, right, before you fly. So like even today, all these texts that we have, messaging, business messaging, like how do you communicate with customers at scale and yet make them feel like it's a personal communication, right? These are things that I feel everyone should think about. How can I create those fantastic experiences for customers with tech that we have today?
Thank you. I love that you mentioned we are creating high quality immersive experiences that transform the way that we learn. And that's particularly, tugging my heartstrings right now because I'm in the L&D department, and I'm very excited about this. And I'm interested though, Karen, are we ready for this? And the reason I'm asking this question is because, I think a lot of customers, there's certainly individuals who would still want to go with a traditional approach and probably would be a little bit iffy about this, but how can we address that challenge?
Yeah, well, if we always look at the data, and then when we survey people and we ask customers, we did this Facebook IQ research last year, and it said that of the people that we researched, 74% of them said that they actually feel that AR is a bridge to online and the physical world. And they feel like, okay, this is great. This is something that we can get behind. It's simple enough. And then out of that, I think about a large percentage of them actually said that they want to be able to get that immersive experience of trying goods and services from the comfort of their own homes. 74% of them actually say that they want to be able to try on goods, products from the comfort of their home. And if you look at the kind of the number of people who use like MetaSpark or AR technology across our social technology platforms, every month 700 million people use it.
Wow.
right? So that's a lot of people, and then the intention. I apologize. My numbers are a bit off. 2/3 of people said that they wanted to try products and services from the comfort of their home. 74% said AR is great, and we want to be able. That's a good bridge. So you put all those numbers together, you go like, okay, yeah, maybe people. There is a room for a hybrid that you can still go to your traditional stores and all, but there is an appetite to start testing and trying out these new experiences. So I feel like, yeah, I think the market is more or less ready, right? Customers are ready to like, okay, let's try out these new experiences.
But what will it take for Metaverse to go mainstream? Like,
Oh, yeah.
what's your
Yeah.
take on this? How do we put it in mainstream?
It is really early, right? So our focus today is really on building the foundational aspects foundational pieces for the metaverse, like VR, right? And bring more people into those experiences. So there are some key innovations that we're working on. But on top of that, more importantly, the principles of what makes the metaverse workable is that, first and foremost, we've said this many times, it's not just one company that's going to build the metaverse. It's going to be like a lot of companies, a lot of individuals, and the industry as a whole is going to have to work on standards to make this metaverse a really open platform. So that in a way like the internet is, so interoperability. Right, this would be more like how the internet works. So then more like how the internet works than how mobile phones work. So imagine like whatever device you're on, you go onto the internet, your internet is the same as my internet, right? More or less, right? And where you have separate ecosystems, where you don't have separate ecosystems, and can easily move between them. I alluded to this earlier. How does someone show up as Dan and as Karen, and then I can move between all the different experiences as we are, and then whatever we wear or what we own, we can move between all these different spaces. And I think that's important. That has to happen because the metaverse can't be built any other way, the way we see it. And so it really depends on building this robust interoperability so that different companies' experiences can work together. Now, if we don't do that right from the outset, then in the end, the people who lose will be the people using the metaverse, because it won't become like the sum of its parts. It's going to be very broken experience. Yeah. So that's important. And we've already started to build this principle into our VR platforms, and we want to collaborate with others to make sure that this is a core feature of how the metaverse works in future. But it is a long road ahead. And then I mentioned the other thing, access, right? How do we make the metaverse accessible to a lot of people, right? And our vision for the metaverse is to reach 1 billion people in the next decade, right? But for that to happen, we'll need to see a steep increase in access to hardware. We need to see significant improvements in connectivity across the world. So the adoption is not skewed by factors outside of people's own choice and control. Mm-hmm. So in this region, in APAC, for example, we are focusing on the availability and we're focusing on the affordability of high quality internet. And this is crucial. So one of the things that we've done here is we've already accelerated more than 300 million people's access to a faster internet. And through future investments, we hope to be able to enable this affordable, high quality connectivity for the next billion. Yeah, and we do this through like, the Echo and Bifrost subsea cables. Like this year we announced that, last year we announced that we have an involvement in setting these subsea cables to support connectivity. It won't happen overnight, but we believe that, this creating access to the metaverse allows people to unlock opportunity and allow people to do some things more easily, regardless of where they physically are.
Thank you, Karen. Exciting things to come. I appreciated the data, and as what I really take from this is, with so much things to look forward to. It is here now, and it certainly is the future. Yeah. I do have one question for you, which is not on my script. I have two questions. Okay, my first question is, we've been talking about Metaverse, yes, and you kind of mentioned a few of those already, but I'd like to just tap on your own experiences. Mm-hmm. Has there been a a personal, a memorable experience, AI and basically in the metaverse where you were totally impressed or that you appreciated that you can share to our audience?
Yes, definitely. Let me think. There are a few. So the very first time I went into a socially connected space in the metaverse, it was in Horizons World. Horizons events, and it was the event last year in October when Mark Zuckerberg came out and it was at the Connect event, right, where he talked about the metaverse. I'll pivot to that. And usually we watch these things like on our work screens, right? We watch it on the PC laptop, and then but that night they said, hey, those who want to like attend the event live, can put on your headsets and then go in there and like join in. And it was like 2 a.m. Okay, but I was intrigued. I was like, what's it like to be able to attend that live? So I actually stayed up. I was like damn tired, but I stayed up. I went there, I put on my headset, and it was so bizarre. I was just standing there with all these other avatar people. You can hear people talking around. They're chatting with each other because they're North America and EMEA. It's a different time zone. So all their friends are there and everyone's talking. And they were waiting to enter this place. It's like weird. And so what you do is like you see this portal, like this poster, you click on it with your hand grips, and so boom, you're in this theater, and you see like Mark on the big screen on stage, and you're in this room with all these other people. And that was one of the times, I think it was the first time I realized that when they talked about presence in the metaverse, like that was what it felt like. I'm not there physically, but it felt like I was. And it's just, yeah, I think it really stayed with me, that first time experience.
That sounds exciting, Karen. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, there's probably a lot more right now that's being designed currently that's going to echo that same experience. My next question is, and this is just the cherry on top, if you were going to encapsulate metaverse in one word, what would that be for you?
One word's very hard, but I'll try. It truly is social is definitely the first word that comes to mind. If I can like flesh
Let's
out.
do 3.
Yes, thank you. I'm well known for not being able to prioritize. Social, opportunities, and connection.
Oh, I love it. Social, opportunities, and connection. As you have been really, you've mentioned, the goal is really to create high quality immersive experiences, and we can certainly target this, 3 points: social, opportunities, and really strengthen that connection. This has been one exciting exchange, Karen, and we're just really scratching the surface on the expansive potential of metaverse and the overall immersive technology behind this world. And at the same time, no matter how much metaverse revolutionizes CX, the core remains, and that is, as you said, connection. It's human connection. I'm sure that our audience, our friends are just as excited as I am for what's to come. So I'd like to thank you, Karen, again for joining us in this conversation. Shall we do it again?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Hopefully soon. Thank you very much. I've learned a lot. And to our audience, thank you for attending our conversation. We'll see each other in the next. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this session of Transformative CX Talks. We have more discussions from esteemed CX leaders, so make sure to check out all our videos to learn more about the CX industry.